I'm Tammy Dana-Bashian, Mayor of Rowlett.
And I'm Brian Funderburk, Rowlett City Manager.
Welcome to the April 2021 edition of Spotlight on Rowlett. On this month's Spotlight story, we're discussing the May 1st special bond and charter amendment election. First up, we're going to detail the projects included in the 2021 Community Investment Program bond election. Residents of Rowlett are asked to go to the polls to consider authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds in the amount of $29.15 million for 3 bond propositions. If passed, residents will not experience an increase to the city tax rate. Each of these projects was carefully considered and proposed by the council-appointed Community Investment Advisory Board, and the City Council voted unanimously to place these propositions on the ballot for citizens' consideration. First up is Proposition A, $19.5 million for paving and drainage. Projects included in this proposition include Phase 2 of Lakeland Heights, $1.6 million, concrete pavement replacement, $3 million, Merritt Interconnector, $2 million, Long Branch Creek erosion control, $2.7 million, Phase 1 and 2 Toller Business Park, $2.15 million, and Phase 1 and 2 Country Air Estates, $1.1 million, Alley Reconstruction Program, $2 million, and East Industrial Street, $4.8 million.
Next up, Proposition B, Parks, Trails, and Recreational Facilities for $7.4 million. These projects include the Wet Zone Water Park right at $765,000, trail construction at $2 million, erosion control $500,000, community park $500,000, and Hereford Park $3.6 million. The third and final proposition on the ballot is Proposition C, which is $2.3 million for public safety. These projects include the outdoor warning system, which is $1.3 million, and the joint fire police station at Sapphire Bay, which is right at $1 million. If passed, the 2021 bond election will enable us to construct the projects identified without an increase to the city's tax rate. We encourage everyone to come out on May 1 and let your voice be heard.
On Monday, April 12th at 6:30 p.m., we will be holding a bond election information meeting on Facebook Live. You'll be able to watch the meeting live and ask questions without leaving your home. Replay of the meeting will be available immediately following the live broadcast. For detailed information about projects included in this year's election, please visit rowlett.com/2021 bond. Or you may email questions to 2021bond@rowlett.com. So Brian, this will be the third bond election that we're going to have. We've been doing them in 3-year increments. We did one 6 years ago and we did one 3 years ago. Prior to that, it was the early 2000s. So there's a lot of catch-up we've done, but there's still a lot to do in the city of Rowlett.
You're absolutely right, Mayor, and there are a lot of needs in this community, particularly in the area of pavement, drainage. Our neighborhoods need work, our thoroughfares need work, public safety, and of course, always our parks and trails.
You know, and these are tough decisions, and the Community Investment Advisory Board did a great job analyzing the projects and coming up with the priorities, and then, you know, city staff and city council refine those. So one thing I would like the residents to know is that, you know, even if your project is not on the list for this bond, it's very, very important that, you know, we continue making that investment in the city of Rowlett so we can get to all those projects that are very necessary for this community.
You know, Mayor, it's a really good point because, you know, particularly where pavement is concerned, we actually assess the pavement condition, you know, and which we call the PCI, Pavement Condition Index. And so it's unlikely that, you know, if we're not able to do these projects, that we're going to pick other projects in the future, because these projects will continue to get worse and they need to get done.
Right. So, you know, go to our website and join us on that Facebook Live session for more information.
And we're not done talking about the May election yet.
The second component of the May 1st election is the charter amendment. The city's charter is a Rowlett version of a constitution and guides our structure and operations. It's a changing document that grows with the city. By reviewing the charter every 5 years, it helps to ensure that the city stays current and in the direction citizens want to go. The Charter Review Commission members were invited to serve based on their previous experience and demonstrated extraordinary service in our community. They began meeting in August and presented their recommendations to the council on January 5th. After further council review, consensus was reached for the ballot items on January 19th.
While the following items were the key focus areas, the charter was reviewed in its entirety. Here are the items that were considered: governance, zoning, and districts, city council term limitations, local election timing, city council paid compensation, city auditor position, code of ethics, which includes a social media policy, municipal court, and on last month's show, we had the chance to interview the Charter Review Commission Chair, Jeff Winget. If you haven't seen that interview, we encourage you to visit our YouTube page and watch that highly informative interview. For questions regarding the propositions on the Charter Review, contact our City Secretary, Laura Hallmark, or you can call the Action Center at 972-412-6100.
Early voting for the special bond and charter amendment elections begin April 19th and runs through April 27th. Election Day is Saturday, May 1st. Election results will be canvassed on Tuesday, May 11th. Please visit Rowlett.com for election details and more information. So Brian, we're required by law to review the charter at least every 5 years, and it's been 5 years since we made charter provision changes. So it was time to review it, and I think there's some really good propositions that are being brought forth.
There are, Mayor, and you know, it was so clear that the Charter Review Commission examined every element of our charter, home rule charter, and they did a great job in assessing and deciding what really needed to be on the election and communicating that to the council, listening to the public. So I think we have some really good changes.
It was interesting, every single recommendation they brought forth, we ended up agreeing with and putting that on the ballot. And even though council tried to, you know, knock holes in it and make sure that, you know, they had considered everything, at the end of the day, we came back to every single one of their recommendations, and that was a great process. All adults in Texas are now eligible to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. The Texas Department of State Health Services expects vaccine supplies to increase, and providers in multiple parts of the state have made great strides in vaccinating people in the current priority groups. The state is also launching a website to allow people to register for a shot through some public health providers. The public will be able to enroll in the Texas Public Health Vaccine Scheduler to identify upcoming vaccine clinics hosted by the state or a participating local health department and be notified when new clinics and appointments become available. Online registration will be the best option for most people. For those for whom that is not an option, the state has launched a toll-free number to provide assistance making an appointment with a participating provider or locating another provider that has vaccine available. For registration information, details, and important links, please visit Rowlett.com/vaccine. To date, Texas has administered more than 9.3 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine, equating to more than 6 million people with at least one dose and more than 3 million fully vaccinated.
To help keep us all safe, the wearing of masks will continue to be a requirement when visiting City of Rowlett buildings. This includes the library, community center, city hall, municipal court, community development, and the animal shelter. As we make decisions on further reopenings, we will continue to monitor the recommendations of the CDC and monitor case counts as reported daily by Dallas County and Rowlett Office of Emergency Management. So, Mayor, you know, we are maybe on the cusp of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and actually starting to come out of this a little bit. I was very impressed by the number I saw in March, where over 100 million people in the United States have now been vaccinated. That's an extraordinary number.
It really is, and you know, the supplies are increasing, and the availability of the vaccine is going to be, you know, for any age in the state of Texas now. And I want to encourage everybody, keep getting those vaccines in those arms. It's very, very important. We've got to get this herd immunity in place. There's places, across the pond that are having some large spikes right now, and there's places in the States that are having some large spikes right now. So, it's a race. We got to get these vaccines in the arms before some of these variants become difficult to manage. So I'm really, really happy the state of Texas has opened up the vaccine to everyone, and so happy that the supplies have increased tremendously. Sapphire Bay has announced that Hyatt's destination hotels will operate the new Sapphire Bay Resort and Conference Center on behalf of the public-private partnership with the City of Rowlett. And it's expected to open in the fall of 2023. Sapphire Bay is the $1 billion master plan mixed-use development project on the shore of Lake Ray Hubbard with a multi-phase opening beginning in 2022. Set to be located on the Sapphire Bay Peninsula, the resort will join Hyatt's destination hotels and showcase more than 500 guest rooms, suites, and villas, each with waterfront views overlooking Lake Ray Hubbard or the 7-acre man-made Sapphire Bay Lagoon. With the Hyatt brand offering their distinctly well-known and upscale experience, we look forward to the Sapphire Bay Resort becoming a sought-after and unique national destination for business conferences and vacationers alike. The Sapphire Bay development is expected to draw more than 6 million visitors each year. So we've been really waiting for this announcement, and so glad that we were able to announce this recently.
Mayor, as you said, we've known for a while that this was going to be the brand, so to speak, and what a brand this is going to be. It is going to really help set the tone for the entire development.
Very, very happy to have Hyatt as our partner.
Take your lunch break outside and soak the spring sun with lunch on the lawn. Every Monday from 11 to 2 p.m., enjoy a variety of food trucks and games in the Village of Rowlett Downtown. Hosted by the Rowlett Parks and Recreation Department, enjoy a spacious green area complete with tables, benches, hand wash stations, and restrooms. Enjoy a casual lunch thanks to the food truck stationed at the park every Monday. Try something new from a variety of food trucks. So Mayor, this is pretty cool. We're going to have different food trucks every Monday when we do this. It'll go well into April. This is really cool. The very first event they had was probably a lot of pent-up demand because they ran out.
They did, and people have this desire to get out and see people, and it was so good to get out on lunch on the lawn and see people that I haven't seen in so long. So, it's a great opportunity. It's a safe environment, and it's a wonderful place to bring your family. On Saturday, April 24th, Keep Rowlett Beautiful is celebrating the 23rd year of the Great American Cleanup. This event unifies and beautifies communities across the country in a grassroots spring cleaning movement. This year, KRB has set up multiple small pod sites where groups of 10 or more people can sign up. Choose your site, sign up your group, and they will be there with supplies. There will be a gift for each volunteer and a bag full of fun and exciting things. To sign up, please visit keeprowlettbeautiful.org.
And coming in May, Keep Rowlett Beautiful and Life Message are proud to bring you Rowlett Recyclables Day, Spring 2021. It's an electronics and paper shredding event on Saturday, May 8th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Rowlett High School parking lot. What are the acceptable electronics to be recycled? Cell phones, consumer electronics, VCRs, stereos, televisions, office equipment, computers, and monitors. If you have a question about what can be recycled, you can send them an email at info@keeprowlettbeautiful.org. Paper shredding is always popular and trucks fill up fast, so arrive early. There's a 3-box limit. If you go over 3 boxes, there's a small $5 fee for each box thereafter. Please remove binder clips, paper clips, and staples.
Lights, camera, action! Hey 6th through 12th graders, we want to see how you reduce, reuse, and recycle to keep Rowlett beautiful. Submit a 30-second video and you could win a cash prize. The Keep Rowlett Beautiful video contest is a fun way for young people to learn about protecting the environment and come up with creative ways to share this knowledge with others. From now through 5 p.m. on Monday, April 12th, Keep Rowlett Beautiful will be accepting videos that demonstrate this year's theme of Let's Keep Rowlett Beautiful, Clean, and Green. Students are asked to film and edit a 30-second video that shows positive ways to reduce, reuse, and recycle, and keep Rowlett beautiful. The students that submit the best videos can win cash prizes. Winners will be announced on Monday, May 3rd. Get started now at keeprowlettbeautiful.org/video contests. So this is always a busy time of the year for Keep Rowlett Beautiful, and they got a lot of things going on right now, and we're so thankful for that organization.
You know, Mayor, every year they do these events, and they're very popular. People start, think about with the COVID environment this past year, and you have all this stuff just congregating in your house. This is an opportunity to get out and get rid of a lot of that stuff. And
there's been a lot of cleaning of people's garages and offices, so I'm sure this will be a big event this year.
The National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day is a safe, convenient, and responsible way to dispose of unused or expired prescription drugs at locations and communities throughout the country. On April 24, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Community Center, Rowlett police officers will be present to accept your expired, unwanted, or unused prescription drugs. This is a collaborative effort with state and local law enforcement agencies coordinated by the Drug Enforcement Agency, focused on removing potentially dangerous controlled substances from our nation's medicine cabinets. This year's event will be drive-through in front of the Rowlett Community Center. If the weather is bad, the event will be moved inside to the lobby of the Community Center, and all COVID restrictions will need to be followed, including masks and temperatures at the door. For more details or questions, either visit rowlett.com or email Officer Dana Reeves at dreeves@rowlett.com. So, Mayor, this is another great opportunity for our residents to be able to get rid of stuff in their house. We all have, prescription drugs sometimes that, maybe we took several years ago and we're just keeping. So, time to get rid of them.
It is, and it's amazing every year when we hear the report of how much of this gets collected in this annual event. So it's a very important event. It's needed for our community, and I hope that if you have those items in your medicine cabinet that you want to get rid of, that you go out there and participate with us. That wraps it up for the April 2021 edition of Spotlight on Rowlett. To stay connected with the latest news and events, please follow the city's Facebook page. And don't forget to subscribe to our weekly and monthly newsletters. Have them delivered directly to your email.
For information regarding COVID-19, please visit rowlett.com/COVID-19. For vaccine distribution information, please visit rowlett.com/vaccine.
See you next month on Spotlight on Rowlett.
Hello, my name is Laura Hallmark, and I am the City Secretary for the City of Rowlett. In my capacity as the staff liaison to the Charter Review Commission, I would like to present you with the recommendations from the Commission and the resulting propositions that will appear on the ballot for the May 1st special election. I'll explain the process for amending the Charter, areas of review, and the resulting recommended propositions. I will also direct you to resources that can provide additional details. According to the Home Rule Charter, the governing document of the city, much like the Constitution, amendments can be voted upon no more often than every 2 years. The City Council shall appoint a Charter Review Commission at least every 5 years, provide their scope of review, and then determine whether to have an election for any proposed changes. These are the Commission members appointed by Council in June of last year. The Commission began meeting in August and presented their recommendations to Council on January 5th. After further Council review, consensus was reached for the ballot items on January 19th. While these were the key focus areas, the charter was reviewed in its entirety. With their scope outlined, the Commission immediately got to the business of their review. Over the course of the next 4 months, subcommittees reported on their designated topics, received input from Judge Liston regarding legislative changes and proposed updates, received input from the City Attorney regarding any legal issues, and the Commission finalized their recommendations for presentation to the City Council. Stricken through text will be removed and underlined text will be added. Proposition A proposes to adopt term limits of 18 years for service on the City Council. Current charter language limits service on the Council to no more than 2 consecutive 3-year terms as mayor and no more than 2 consecutive 3-year terms as council member. This means that a person could serve 6 years as council member, then serve 6 years as mayor, then serve 6 years as council member, and so on for perpetuity. It also allows a person to sit out for a year and then restart the 6-year term limits. The proposed change creates a term limit of no more than 9 years consecutively or in total as mayor, and no more than 9 years consecutively or in total as a council member, for a total of 18 years. Proposition B is proposing an increase to the amount that the mayor and council members would receive each month, changing the mayor's compensation from $500 to $750 and council members from $300 to $450. The last time there was an increase was with the approval of Proposition 3 in the May 2016 Charter Amendments. Proposition C proposes that the word may be changed to shall in order to require the appointment of a city auditor rather than optional as it is currently written. It also removes the requirement that this appointment be made by ordinance. Current process for council-appointed positions is not by ordinance. Proposition D proposes that social media be added to the Code of Ethics section of the Charter. As a side note, City Council recently updated the Code of Ordinances ethics policy to include the use of social media. This proposed update to the Charter would require its inclusion. The next 2 propositions deal solely with the municipal court and its operations, which brings the Charter language in line with current state law. Proposition E proposes the inclusion of an endnote regarding the legislative designation of the court's name, referencing a specific section of the Charter regarding term appointments of the judges, providing for civil and concurrent jurisdiction, and moving the appointment of court staff under the authority of the presiding judge from the city manager. This change has already been made administratively in keeping with state law. And these are the actual changes, the insertion of the endnote, and the renumbering of subsequent notes. This shows the reference to the specific section of the Charter and the addition of concurrent jurisdiction. While civil jurisdiction is pretty clear, concurrent jurisdiction is jurisdiction that is shared by different courts. For example, if a Rowlett police officer writes a ticket on Interstate 30 or on State Highway 66 or Lakeview Parkway, it allows the Municipal Court of Rowlett to enforce it. Because the road is not owned by the city, without concurrent jurisdiction, shared jurisdiction with the state, the city would not be able to enforce the ticket. This shows the appointment of staff by the chief judge rather than the city manager. Proposition F proposes removing the specificity of 2-year terms for the chief and alternate or associate judges, but does not restrict the ability of the City Council to make those appointments in accordance with state law. And this text shows how the Charter would read if approved. This also moves the last sentence up into the paragraph for ease of reading. This section cleans up the language and keeping in line with state law. These are the topics that were reviewed with a recommendation from the Commission to make no changes at this time. In looking at governance districts, the Commission carefully considered how differing areas of the city might be represented. Currently, each council member is, in effect, accountable to every citizen in Rowlett. Ultimately, the Commission arrived at a couple of key concerns. By developing zones, there was concern with politics negatively impacting residents, and in particular, a quid pro quo attitude where deals might be made in the interest of a particular district. Additionally, there was concern about the lack of candidates overall. During the last election, there were only 4 candidates for the 3 open seats. Given this limited candidate pool, certain districts might go unrepresented or be poorly represented. As a result, the Charter Review Commission recommended no change to the current charter regarding governance zoning. The Commission also considered whether the local elections should be moved to coincide with the November general election. Ultimately, it was decided to make a recommendation to not change the current timing of the local elections. The reasoning for this recommendation stems from the past election in November. What was observed was that the turnout was over 10 times higher than a typical Rowlett election. While those are numbers that we would like to see at all of our elections, the reality is that additional turnout at a general election does not necessarily mean that voters are educated about the local election itself. The Charter does provide for administrative amendments in Section 12.04 to amend statutory or state law references, to amend, alter, or reformat provisions, such as corrections, but absolutely no substantive changes without voter approval. This administrative amendment procedure was approved by 83% of the voters as Proposition 3 in the 2013 Charter Amendment election. These changes will be brought forward to City Council at a later date for administrative amendment. Keeping in line with state law, changing the specific date reference for candidacy of the mayor and council members, changes the language for the runoff election in keeping line with state law, and removing an extra word to make the sentence more cohesive. And this is where you can find more information. The Charter Review Commission members visited with all the other boards and commissions, providing this information and helping to spread the word and get out the vote. Information regarding the May 1st election can be found on the city's website, rowlett.com, and your opportunity to make a choice begins April 19th with the start of early voting. Thank you for taking the time to review this information and become an informed voter. If you have any questions about the information provided, you may send them to Laura Hallmark, City Secretary, at lhallmark@rowlett.com. The Commission appreciates your time and asks that you share this information with other Rowlett residents and encourage them to make their voice heard and vote.